Yeah, g'day viewers, and thanks for tuning in today. Sorry about the bit of the echo in here, but we've moved into the dining room. It's too dark outside, and I thought I'd better take this opportunity to do the 40,000 kilometre review on my bike before it clicked over more than that. So we'll just check the mileage that's on it. So we're at 39,914 Ks. And a bit of an economy check on trip 1, 2,800 kilometres since I've come back from the Flinders at 4 litres per 100 kilometres, and most recent since we changed tyres, 631 kilometres of commuting, 3.8 litres per 100 kilometres. So yeah, it's about 500 or 600 kilometres away from needing a service at the moment, and in between the last service I do the oil every 7,500 kilometres like you should, and a service every 15,000 every second time. So between the last oil change and this oil change, it hasn't needed any oil, it hasn't used any. It's gone from the top of the sight glass down 2 or 3 millimetres. So not doing anything unusual there. On this bike, I'm still running the snorkel pre-filters from Twin Air, the Twin Air 2-skin air filter, and inside the airbox is as clean as last time. So I did the air filters last weekend for a ride. You might notice a couple of subtle differences from last time. It's got the tall rally seat. The exhaust that is on it at the moment is a standard exhaust because I'm getting the exhaust that it came with modified with a 50mm outlet like Neil's done. So that's going to go back on this one. The steering damper is back to the original linear style steering damper, and it's back on its original wheels. So it's basically in semi-standard trim. I mean, it's still got the MST fairing. And I guess the elephant in the room is sitting behind me, and it's the new 890 Rally. Yeah, so as you can see, some of my parts have migrated over to the 890. I've got the Delcovic exhaust on, my lower seat, which I had modified and recovered, has no hump, and it's built up at the front, lowered at the back here. I've got the one-finger clutches come across. I've spun the brake tip around to the high off-road position, taken the rubbers out. I've got the 15-tooth front sprocket in it. I've got the Scott's damper version 1, which is only the 12mm rise. For the handlebars, I didn't like the version 2, it's up 20mm. I've got the suspension set at its, with the forks in, the preload down. So this has got the cone valve pro suspension in it. I've got my Bark Busters new set on this one, my mirrors and my tyre pressure monitoring system. So this is basically what I've taken off, and you know, with the exhaust, the grab handles, the passenger pegs, 15-tooth sprocket, the rubber inserts, the plastic hand guards, which aren't much chop. So my tyre pressure monitoring system goes in there with the standard fairing. I have done one dirt ride on it. On the weekend I went out with Justin, and it flies off-road. I've only got a couple of 100 kilometres on it, so you know, I'm taking it easy on it, and I just wanted to get out, get on some hard-ish kind of dirt tracks and see what it's like, and everything on it is next level. It idles nicer, it's got more torque, a lot smoother power delivery, and the suspension and the adjustability on the suspension is a huge step forward. So I would have said that the 790 was revolutionary, you know, almost, you know, a clean sheet of paper and what a lot of people wanted. And this is an evolution rather than a revolution, but everything on this that's different to the 790 is better. So, you know, is it a unicorn? No, it doesn't weigh 150 kilos and make 300 horsepower. It's still a 200 kilo bike, and you know, what I do like about it though, it's got extra torque and extra power in the middle where you're more likely to use it rather than just focusing on the 10 extra horsepower that it's got up top. Yes, it's Euro 5, so I'm sure it's got a little bit more going on in the cat. I've gone to the standard, the exhaust that I was running, the seat I was running, the handlebars in exactly the same position I was running, everything identical to how I had that before I changed the fairing to the MST fairing, because I want to compare apples with apples. And straight out of the box, the compliance on the suspension on this is next level. I'm I've got a dirt driveway and then a road that I ride up. I'm just riding on the side of the road, going over people's driveways and stuff, and it is way more compliant. So I've only got good things to say about this. Obviously, I'm happy about it. You know, I'd love to say that it came from my viewers, and you know, part of the reason I make videos is I enjoy sharing my experiences. I've got 40,000 kilometres on this bike, and I've got to say it put a smile on my face every time I rode it. And that was part of the reason that when Mike from Motorcycles R Us said that he possibly could get me a rally, I put my name down and I went, well, if it's everything on this but turned up to 11, then I'm going to like it even more. So just like last time, I thought I'd pull the clutch out, let you guys have a look at the clutch, because a lot of people have got, you know, concerns over the longevity of the clutch. As far as I know, at 40,000 Ks, this is one of the higher kilometre ones around. So I'll get the other camera with the lights set up so that we can take some video of that and have a look. One thing I will say, as you're doing this kind of job, it always pays just to take a photo as you take the clutch apart. You know, I've taken this apart twice before, but it's always important to remember that there's only one plate in the outer layer and how it goes. So it's good to have a photo just to refer back to. Also, I do have an impact wrench, which I will use to undo the bolts, but I don't use to do them up and torque them. I've got a torque wrench. So with that, we'll jump in and have a look and check out the clutch. Alright, that's why I take that off so I can get in behind here. There's a reason. So that pulls out, Very simple. So that's looking really good. So you got one of the outer two plates is in the slot on its own, and then the next one and all the rest are in the other slot, and there's a couple of smaller plates in there. Alright, like I say, always take a photo, and that way you can always go back to it and have a look, make sure you're correct. So I've got the torque wrench over there, I've got the torque setting already on the torque wrench for these 10mm bolts. The main thing to do with these is just not to undo any one of them from tight too far. You want to undo them reasonably easily at the start, and a little bit more as you go along. The tension comes off because this is a PASC power assisted slipper clutch, which under power also locks in. So you don't have very strong, or as strong a clutch spring as you would on a non-power assisted clutch. So it's got two ramps on the inside of this outer plate, one of which turns in the direction when the clutch is engaged and under power, and actually clamps the clutch plates together more firmly. And the other one, when you're decelerating, the ramp works on the other side and it actually lifts the clutch plate off and has less tension on the springs to stop your back wheel from locking up. So that's all mechanical, there's nothing electronic about that. That's just purely through the physics of the way that this outer clutch, the inner clutch assembly meshes with the clutch basket. It's purely mechanical. Always pays when you take your springs off to just have a look and make sure that they're all the same length. Nothing is going weird with your springs. Easiest way to do that is just to put it down somewhere flat, see how it's sitting. So this outer plate has the two ramps, and on one side it clamps inwards when it's twisting this way, and on this ramp it pushes outwards when it's twisting this way against the two corresponding parts inside, which is the inner part of this ramp and the outer part of this ramp. So on one side or the other side, those two same parts engage, and one either locks it in tighter or pushes it out a little bit due to the torque. So you can see here, good oil flow. It's important that you've got oil sitting in your clutch whenever you take it apart, and you can see from the clutch plates there's no burning, nothing weird on the clutch plates. When you take them apart, it's always important to put them straight down in order that they came out, remembering that this one goes in the separate holder itself. I actually think that these two clutch plates, which are smaller, is actually what slips when your slipper clutch is engaging and disengaging. So you can see that they're still good. There's no burning on them. There's no burning on the metal parts. And there's not much need to go any further than that. So always turn them around the same way that you got them out. Make sure that everything goes back in the same way. So that's all good. That's looking fine. And there's nothing untoward in there. Up inside, the rest of it, it's all crystal clear. That's your shift mechanism at the back there, and everything in there is absolutely perfect. I've got to say that the oil that they use, the KTM, inside that it just looks crystal clear. So I don't know about you guys, but I think maybe since we've got a brand new 890 Rally sitting over there, you guys might be interested in seeing what's inside the clutch on that as well. So let's have a peek. Alrighty. So this is what a fresh one looks like. And you can see the same as the other one, it's got a mark where one outer special clutch plate goes that lines up with a paint mark. So other than that, it looks identical visually, but let's have a look and see what the plates are like. Springs the same. Flat. Everything there is the same, unmarked. So one plate, you can see the oil sitting down the bottom again. One plate looks identical to me. Face down. One small friction plate. Face down. Then the plates that go in all the way down to the bottom. There's another small one. Face down. Metal plate where it slides. So looks like it's got a different, slightly different texture on it, slightly different colour, maybe a slightly different heat treating. And here we go, the first of the 890 plates. So let's have a look in detail at this. And compare it to the 790 plate. So the 790 plate is straight and the 890 plate is on an angle. If I was a gambling man, I would say that there's slightly less gap and slightly smaller contact area on the 891 versus the 791, which is straight and goes all the way to the edges. The 891 doesn't, but the gaps are smaller. There's probably a couple more. So there's a little bit more plate area. They are quite different. Mine's done 40,000 Ks and I don't have a micrometer, I'm not that kind of mechanic. I'm a marine engineer, but yeah, okay. So they are a bit different, slightly different design, slightly different material. I would say they're both aluminium, very similar in how they're made. Just see if this will go in, if they are identical. Pretty sure they are. Yep. So the 790 plates will go in the 890, which means obviously the 890 plates will go in the 790. So just put that down, face down. The metal friction plates. So these do actually look a little bit different. If I was a gambling man, I would say there's a different coating on them. We've got a similar pattern with the dots and both steel. And yeah, these do look a little bit different on the finish. I'm talking about in on the teeth where nothing rubs on them. There's a different finish on them. So they must have upgraded them for some reason. Important note when you're putting these together, on the back of the clutch plate there's a slightly rounded edge side and a square edge side. This side is quite sharp. This side is out and the rounded edge goes in. So if you do have them apart, that's how they go together. So, alright. Well, there's no point going any further with that. Just let you have a look at the next one. It's identical, darker colour, same shape, the new shape. So, yeah, that's all good. So, slot that one back in. It's not super critical where these go, as long as they're in the right way. Just double check that, since I just did that one-handed. Yep, wrong way. Yeah, so the rounded edge goes in, and then it all goes back together, and then you torque it up. So I've got the torque wrench. Here, all set up, ready to go. Alright, so there is a little bit of technique involved in getting the one finger clutch to be in the right place. So the first thing you do is adjust your lever adjustment up the top so that it's 2 or 3 turns out. So you've got a little bit you can go in, but plenty you can come out. And then the clutch disengagement arm has a screwdriver screw in it, and you have to turn it anti-clockwise to engage and tighten this Allen key at the same time while you've got this connected to your cable. So it is a little bit of a three-handed trick the first time you do it to get it all lined up. I've got mine in the middle hole, not the far hole. I actually find it makes it a little bit too light. So what I'm doing here is putting tension on the arm, pulling the cable tight, and I'm turning this screw anti-clockwise until it's engaged, and then I'm tightening the Allen key, which hopefully, if you've got it right in the correct position, I don't know if I have. So it's got to have a little bit of slack down here, down at this end. You have to make sure 100% that you have a little bit of movement down here, so that the cable is never pulling tight, so that it can't ever just start overheating and making the clutch slip. So you want to have about 5 or 6 millimeters of movement at the end there, and then you can adjust your slack up at the top, up on your cable, to get it correct. So it looks like I lucked out and did that right the first time. So I'll just nip that up on the it's actually not a spline, it's just a rod, and have a go. And I've got a little bit too much slack up the top, which is actually just about perfect, actually, because then you can adjust it with your lever adjuster. So at the moment, I've got at least 10 millimeters, well, more like 20 millimeters of movement here before it starts to do anything at the end of my clutch. So then I'll just adjust it up a little bit up here until I've got about 10 millimeters down this end, 10 or 12 millimeters before it starts to do anything, and then your clutch goes in. Now the reason I run it in the middle one and not the top, and then you just tighten this. So anytime I'm off-road, I'm constantly doing this just to double check and make sure that there's slack up the top here, so that I'm not accidentally starting to have my clutch plates slip. So the reason I am trying it on the middle position rather than the end position, I found the end position, the leverage was so little that I wasn't getting it fully engaged in and able to find neutral very easily. So in the middle position, it's still easier than the stock lever. Even the first position is slightly longer than the stock position on the stock lever. So yeah, we'll give that a try, see how she goes, and we'll get her out on the dirt this weekend again. I've already been on the dirt on it with Justin and fallen off So yeah, she's able to be ridden now. I don't have to worry about it as much as a brand spanking new one without a mark on it. So yeah, look forward to the next video with that, and thanks for tuning in. Cheers. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see some more of these videos. There's a couple more coming up and a few more bits and pieces. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Cheers.